Hello, and thank you for joining us again. This is Ray Howell with Danger Aware, and we are working on our new Super Aware Kid character. And let's go ahead and bring up that screen there. So what we've got is our character here. We've gotten the legs and the hips and the shirt and the neck and the head, but of course you can see the neck is not where it belongs. We need to move that down. We click over here, we can click and drag this down to below the shirt, and so now the neck is appearing behind as it should, and the skull is on top of the neck, which is as it should be. But as you can see, we're not quite centered, so but we're matching the picture, aren't we? That's why. Okay, so let's work on the ears. Let's go ahead and add, whoop, I didn't want to copy. Let's delete that. I'm going to create a new vector, and we'll just call it ear. And since the character's right ear is the more visible one, the left one is kind of hidden by the part of the face. So we'll work on this ear here, and we're going to start with a circle, and we're going to use our skin color style. So there we go. And we're just going to zoom in, get really close so that we can match this ear as closely as possible. So we start with a circle. And we can pick up each dot here and manipulate it to exactly where we want it to be. And we're going to have to add some extra dots as well. So let's see here. We'll put that right there and add. And here. Bring this earlobe out to here like this. And in just like that. And let's take this point. It looks to go about right here. And then we've got some internal features for the ear, so we're just going to draw. I'm using Alt to change the size of my pinpoint there. There we go. So let's see what that looks like. It's not even attached to the head for some reason. Well, because we haven't brought the cheeks out and matched our actual drawing yet. So let's see. This looks a little bit too large here. Let's go up here. Bring this on over like that. And then we'll hide this edge here. Then we'll make the skull larger, or bring this point over anyway. And we'll be adding points to the skull here to match the chin and cheeks of the character. And let's take a look at that. So yeah, the ear is kind of hanging off the head, but that's what an earlobe does on some people. Not all people. Some people's earlobes connect directly into their skull. Mine personally hang down a little bit, not excessively, not like this one, but that I think will work. Let's take a look at rendering it and see how it's actually coming along. So when you render, you don't get a scroll. You can zoom in and out, but you can only zoom in and out to the center. So I don't know, that looks alright once we get hair around it. So we can either recreate another ear or just duplicate this one. I think we'll just duplicate this one. So instead of ear 2, we'll call it right ear and left ear. And no space there. And we'll move the left ear below the skull for the moment. And then we flip it. Layer. We want to flip its layer, not the object. Well, maybe we could do the object. Let's just do the object. Let's select the ear and all of its points, and then flip it and keep our positioning here. So now we can pick that all up and move it to the other side of the head. And it's going to be slightly below the head because the head's got a slight turn to it. And we'll work on that where we'll go both ways, and we can do that with the ear if we stick it in its own layer. If we stick the ears and the skull in its own layer, then we can affect how those ears will display. It's one of the things that's neat about Moho, that you can use layer animation. So here we go. Did I not hide that edge? It's not, well, it may just be the way it's rendering. Let's do this. We'll change our camera position. We'll put the skull in the center, and then we'll zoom in. And I'm using my mouse just to click and drag, and I'm going to hit Control R to render. So yeah, that edge is hidden, so the ear looks like it's part of the skull, and that ear is behind it, so we're looking good. So now, what I'm thinking is on these, when we do the character's face, it's going to be indistinct, because that's what we're looking for. We don't want detailed features. And I'm thinking that I should be using that on the entire face, and I don't know. Let's change skin to face skin. We're going to create a new style. We're going to call it Skin 1. And we'll pick up our skin color. And we will put the fuzz on it now, soft edge it is. Now we'll go back to the shirt, put it back to plain, go to face skin, and it's still plain. So now let's go back to skin 1, and let's select the ear and the lines by holding shift and clicking on the lines. So we now got everything, and we're going to change it to skin 1, and there we go, it did change. And now we're going to hit render, and there's our fuzz on the right item. So now let's reduce the amount of that shade or fuzz. Let's see here, skin 1, and we're gonna take the soft edge to 5. And now the stroke is way too thick, so let's put it to a 2 is good, I think. And let's render. And we've got still too much fuzz. So we're going to go into the soft edge and take it down to 2. And let's see what that does. Yes, that is the effect we're looking for, so that we can't make out the actual features. So now let's go ahead and grab the other ear and grab it, and each of the lines, and we're going to change it to skin 1. Then we're going to choose the skull, select it, and change it to skin 1. And so now when we render, yes, our character's features will be very indistinct. Perfect. And so let's bring our kid back, and now we can duplicate the facial features, because we can now be sure that they're going to be hidden. Now, there's no reason to not make my mouth the same way I do all my other mouths. So I'm going to create each individual part. So first vector of the mouth is going to, oh, it's wrong place. Let's delete that. Go into above the ear, create a new vector, and this is going to be the lips. Now when you do a mask, which this is going to be, whichever item is going to be on top of everything is going to be the bottom element in your mask. In that case is going to be our lips. And for the lips, we're just going to make a circle that encompasses the basic shape of the mouth here on the character. And we should have undo that, Control Z to undo anything, and we need to choose skin 1 first. So we're using the skin color that we want for the lips. And the lips need to be a little darker than the skin, so we're going to add a new style instead. After we've selected the skin, then we're going to create a new one, and that will be lips. And the reason I wanted to select it first is because it gives us that base color to start with. So now we need the lips to be darker, definitely on the stroke. So we're just going to go a little darker here on the stroke for the mouth, and then the internal part of the mouth would be darker and a bit more red. So we're going to do that. We're going to make the internal part of the mouth darker than the stroke, and a bit into the red color. Let's go a little more red, and we'll try that out. Again, we're being indistinct, but it should still be the way we do a regular character if we were doing that. So now we need to make the lips. So there we go. And get it centered properly there. Now with the lips, to make the proper curve up in the ship in the center of the lips, we hit T to grab a point, and then we use C for curve, and then we're going to use the Alt key, and we're just going to drag each lip side up to make the lips curve in the center there. And then we're going to hit T again and bring the bottom lip down just a bit. And that's how I create my basic lips. Now, as I get more professional at this and better, I will probably do a better job. But this does work well for what I need to do most of the time. So now we want to make the thickness of those lips be proper so that we can close the mouth and open the mouth. But when we design with the idea that we're halfway open and halfway to wherever we're at, whatever part we're working on. So first of all, let's go to the width, and we're going to add thickness to the lips, just like that. And then the lower lip, of course, should be much thicker as well. And now we'll be able to, as we animate, manipulate this mouth, open and close, and the shape of the lips will remain proper. And we can bring it closed. At this point, we're probably going to need to reduce the curve on the corners to make the mouth close more properly. So there we go. So we'll be able to very closely simulate a mouth both open and closed without a lot of different points and shape changing and all of that. So that keeps our mouth pretty consistent, and we can move it left and right to add emphasis and whatever. So there's our basic mouth, basically opened. And now let's go back and, well, let's render it. See how that works, because it has had the soft edge that we applied to the head, so it should carry through. So there we go. We've got a semblance of the mouth, but it's really hard to determine the exact shape of it, which is fine. So now we're going to move on to the next step, which would be the nose. So the nose is fairly simple here. We're just going to create a new shape of the separate vector and nose. And we want it separate because as we turn the head, we're going to bring the nose out away from the face and reshape it as we turn it sideways. So I'm going to draw a circle to begin with. We're going to start up right above the, well, at the eyebrows, and just come down to the nose here. And then we're going to add points to make the shape proper. So over here, we can drag this one over here like this, and add one at the center here in the top. And bring that one down. Basically want to get our lines centered in the artist's lines to begin with. So using Alt, I'm going to bring this line over. And then you can tell we don't see these lines over here, so we're just going to hide this line and this line, so, and the top line there. Let's see how that renders without the kid in place. Oh, I'm using the lips color. Let's not do that. Let's grab the nose, and it should be skin 1 color. It says skin. Oh, we've got 2 applied somehow. So let's get rid of the lips one. There we go. Alright, so now we can render and we've got our basic nose shape. It's it could be thicker and darker. So let's see. Go a little darker on the stroke here, and we'll go a little thicker. Let's try that. It's coming along. We may do some more fuzzing out later. So let's continue on with the character. So the nose should end with a point. So we're going to add another point, and we're going to stop the nose right there and hide this above. So now that's what we're going to get. And we can go in here and hit T and grab this point, hit W, and widen the lines here so that we actually more approximating the original drawing. So there we go. Things are coming along. Ignore the fact that the lips look really dark right now, because we will be closing them eventually to more properly resemble this character here. So now we're going to do the eyes. So, well, I'm not finished with the mouth, really, honestly. We need to do, beyond the lips, we would do a tongue and teeth. So we're going to do a new vector, and we're going to call that tongue. And we're going to do a new style, and it's going to be tongue, because it's going to be specifically for the tongue, which should be the same as skin color, but a little bit redder. So we're just going to drop the hue into the reds to show that there's more blood flow in the tongue than in the rest of the body there. So now we can draw our tongue, which is nothing more than a simple oval, and we can manipulate that with the control bones and such during animation. So if we hide this, you can see there's the tongue. And now we need to do our teeth. So above the tongue, we're going to add a new vector, and we're going to call that teeth. And we need a new color for that, and teeth. And I'm keeping the skin colors so that we're carrying the colors and edge set of soft edge. Once I get into other colors, we'll change that, but right now everything to do with the facial features we want to be fuzzed out. So we want our teeth to be not quite pearly white, but very close. Really should have a little yellow tint there. And then the stroke will be the same color, and then we'll make that darker and make it somewhat transparent. Let's go to let's see, 255 is our max. Let's go about 200. So now we can draw the teeth, which are basically just going to be, actually let's do the upper and lower teeth separate. The reason is the upper teeth do not move. They stay connected to the skull and stay in one place on the top of the mouth. So we'll just draw our basic tooth layout here, and we do want to go wider than the lips, and hit T and let's center it. And normally our teeth are set a bit above the center of the mouth, so we'll go right there. And we can go in and add points. So if we want to make the front teeth here larger, and then the next set of teeth a little bit smaller, and then the next set of teeth, and so on. Now we can hit curve, and we can just simply go in here and put a little bit of, using Alt, we use each curve separately, and we just put a little bit of a dip going up between each teeth here. Each of the teeth. And there we've got the semblance of teeth. We can definitely get much more extreme if we need to, and if we want to. I think it looks better there, that way. And then of course the canines are supposed to be just a little bit longer than the other teeth, and more pointed. So there we've got our character's upper teeth, and then we do the lower teeth. So we do a new vector, lower teeth. Now the lower teeth should actually be under the top teeth unless we give them an underbite. So that way when the teeth come together, the top teeth will overlap the bottom teeth. So now we're going to just draw another rectangle for the bottom teeth. And again, we're just going to add some points. Start in the center. Do the next tooth over. And the next tooth. Looks like the tongue is not centered. Let's see here. Well, pretty close. So my points must be off. So we can grab them all, just like this, and hit T. Let's center them in the tongue. And we probably should do that better at the upper teeth. So grab, G to grab all these teeth, hit T, and now we can manipulate them to the center. There we go. And now we go back to the lower teeth and continue to add points. A to add. And then hit C for curve and simply go in using Alt. We create the curve up of each tooth. And if you want to make them really sharp, you can go straight up and bring them over so that each tooth is more flat, you know. And using different settings on these for different characters, you can create unique teeth for each character. So you don't want to always be, oh, this needs to be perfect. People don't have perfect teeth. Very, very rarely. Generally, only if they're store-bought. So play with it. Do what you like. It's going to be your character. And we can definitely make those more pronounced by bringing the points higher to make more of a dip between. And it doesn't have to be exact or perfect or match a real person's mouth. It just needs to be what you want, you know, for your characters. So we got our lips, our tongue, our upper and lower teeth. So we're now going to create, using those, we're going to group them together and call this the mouth. And now we're going to apply a masking to that mouth. And what this basically means is everything behind the bottom item, which is the lips, will be hidden behind the lips. So let's go ahead and do that now. We go to masking and we're going to just choose hide all and apply. And now you can see that we've got the character's mouth only showing the shape of the lips and what's beyond. Now we need to go into the lips and it's masking, and we want to exclude strokes and then apply. And now we see our lips on top of the tongue and the teeth and the back of the mouth or the back of the lips. So by putting the lips as the mask, the stroke becomes the front and the fill becomes the back of the mouth, and everything in between becomes in between in the mouth and layered properly as they are laid out here. So as I said, if we bring our bottom teeth up, they go under the top teeth. So you can see there, we can still see the edge of the top teeth, but the bottom teeth are disappearing, and that's as it should be. And we can also make the lips go higher, you know, to show off the upper teeth, just like that. So that's how you use masking and create an object. Whoops, I didn't want to do that. I want the whole bottom tooth there. So how you create the effect of something behind something else. And we're going to do the same thing with the eyes. So, and we do that with, you know, with most of our characters. We create eyes that are layered just like that mouth is. So now we're going to start with our eye. So create a vector. And what do we call this part? Not the eye, of course. It is the white of the eye. And as I said, I like to use singular words to indicate things. And so we're going to use sclera, which is the official name of the white of the eye. So this will give us the eyelids and the white of the eye, because we're going to build it that way. So we need a new style for our sclera, and it's going to be fuzz just like everything else, so we can go off the teeth, and we're just going to make this stroke our skin color. So we're going to go and grab this and select our basic skin color off the ear there, and then we don't want it transparent, and there we go, like that. And so now we've got our eye stroke is our eyelids and our internal part for the eye white, and then everything we place between the sclera and the name eye will be hidden just like we just did the mouth. So what we want here actually is for this to be the stroke, or dark like the stroke of the skin. And so we're going to go down to the darker color there, and now we're going to draw an oval for the sclera, and we're just going to match the eye here, and then we're going to go to the corners, and we can grab them both at the same time and hit C for curve, and then we're going to click and drag to the left so it brings those curves to points on each end. Now if we want to get into real detail, we're going to add points here that creates that little part at the corner of the eye, and then change this curve back to a roundish curve. So there's our basic eye shape. If we turn off the kid, you can see it now. So there's the whites of the eye, and now we need to do the pupil and the iris. The pupil is the smallest center, the iris is the outer, and so we're going to add that right above sclera here. So we're going to go with a new vector, and we're going to call that the iris. And let's give this person a new eye color of brown. So we're going to go into here and go to the browns, and that should be good there. Sorry, I just got a text message. That's my phone giving me a text. So we're going to now do the eye stroke. Should be very close to the eye color, but be different enough to bring out details. And It doesn't need to be darker or lighter. And we're going to want to use a brush. So we're going to go in and use this for the brush, and that will give us a really neat iris effect. So let's draw a perfect circle, and it's going to be bigger than the sclera. So some of the circle of the eye won't be visible. And so you can see there we've got a neat effect on the eye, but it should be going inward more than outside. I wonder if there's a way we can do that. Well, we don't need to worry about it because it's soft edge anyway at this point for this character. So now we're going to create the pupil, another vector, and of course we need that color. So we're going to go new, and it's going to be pupil. And I'm going to leave this effect here, but I'm going to change the fill to solid black. And so now we're going to draw a perfect circle inside of this circle. And pick it up and center it where it's properly centered. And you can see that we've got the effect of the pupil there going internally. So it's still going to cover the black, though. Let's take a look at this and render it, see what it's looking like. That looks good. I think that'll work out. Gives them a nice solid black pupil in the very center. Maybe we can add a second pupil on regular characters to cover the effect, but still give them the eye effect there. So let's go back to eye color. If we change those larger, I just don't like it being outside the eye. And we'll just do it to the right at the edge like that. So now we can render, and that looks real good. Alright, so now we've got our eye created. We've got the sclera, the iris, and the pupil. So we're going to combine those together, make a group, and call it eye. And then we're going to make it a mask. So we go into masking, and we hide all, and apply. And that gives us our shape, but you can see our stroke is being overridden. So we go to the sclera, and we go to the masking, and we exclude strokes so that they're not covered, and apply. And there, now we've got our eyelid covering our eye, and we can go Control R and render our character. So there we've got the eye shows, but it's kind of fuzzy, but not a fuzzy enough, you know, with the soft edge thing. So go back to 3 here. Let's take a look here. Maybe we can make it more fuzz. Let's try that. Let's change the soft edge to 6. Not a lot of difference, but we'll go with it. So now we're going to just duplicate the eye. So we'll make a copy. And this will be our left eye. And this one will be our right eye. And now on the right eye, we simply flip the layer and put it in the right place. Let's take a look at our super aware kid. And neat thing you can do with Moho is make a regular picture transparent so that you can see through to see if you're getting things in the right places. So our kid's coming along, and we're ready to make the skull proper. We need to bring at a point, I think, here and over here. So now we've got a proper skull shape. And let's see, is that chin really down there that low? Let's do that. Let's bring that right ear over a little. That. Too much there. And there we go. Our kid is coming along. So now the hair. I'm not really good at the hair, but we've got the hair in at least 3 different parts. So we've got this ponytail, or the long part that hangs over the shoulder, the part that hangs behind the head and behind the shoulder, the part in the front of the head here. And since we're going to be turning the head, there's going to need to be hair on each side that we can bring out and around as we turn the head. So no less than 6 different sections of hair. So I'm thinking we should probably, some of it's got to go in front of the skull, and some of it behind the skull. And we've got to be able to move it between around. So should it be inside the head? No, it should be separate from the head. So let's combine all of these parts here into a group and call it head. And since it is a complex item, we'll use all caps. So that way we can move the head as we need it, all as a single item, and also work with each individual part as we need. So now we're going to create a new vector, and this is going to be our hair, so we need a new style. So hair 1, because we're going to need multiple hair colors so that we can get some realism going, even though it's still all going to be fuzzed out. So again, I should have copied from one that was already fuzzed, so let's cancel this. We can delete any that we haven't used, so that gets rid of that new one. So now we're going to go, whoops, I didn't want to do that. Delete it. So now we bring up the skin one. That's the one with the soft edge. Now we're going to create the hair, and that gives us the same settings and the color, but we can make changes now. So hair 1, and let's bring our Superwear Kid back to 100%. And we've got brownish color, and for a stroke we'll go a little darker color there. Alright, and let's go ahead and create new for style hair 2, and pick up these brownish colors and a different edge color there. So now we can start making our hair. So we go up to the head and the new layer, and we'll call this hair top front. This hair is really curly. Let's maybe go create curls. So if I hide one edge and I change the width of the stroke, so hit W and hit T, grab a point, hit W, and we'll shrink these points like that, and hit T, grab this, Control C to copy, Control V to paste, and move it and rotate it, and Control copy and V and move it and rotate it. And if we change the colors on the hair to be also transparent, you can add a bunch of these, rotating and overlapping them to create the hair look. I don't know if this is going to work. I'm experimenting. So let's see here. And grab and just grab all these and copy and paste and rotate. And so we're ending up with a bunch of little curls. Let's see what that is rendering as. I think that'll work. I think that'll make a good hair effect if I continue like this. So let's go ahead and grab all of those. Control copy, paste, rotate, and move. Paste, rotate. So let's bring the kid back. There we go. And we'll just keep building the hair, ensuring we're always rotating. And we can also change the shape a bit and the size of the curls. So we've got more variety in there. Now, a lot of points will cause slowing down of each part. So let's take a look at this without the kid. I like that. I think that's going to work out good. I think that makes really good hair. But what we might want to do is to reduce the amount of items is once we've got the hair shape creation to the basics, we might want to capture that as a image and then bring it in as a singular image. So let's leave that one there, copy it, paste it, turn it, move it over here. Change the shape and size of the curls a little bit. See, that takes a very long time to render, but it does look really good, I think. A little bit more and it'll look even better. So let's see here. Control V and just paste our last one and bring it on over here like this. So we're gonna overlap and get more curls going on. So let's go with that for our first hair structure. And what I'm going to do is create another one real quick. So we're going to go hair top behind. So this will be the hair behind the skull. So we'll move it behind the head here. And we'll just start pasting. And we won't be able to see this behind the skull. You can see there, none of it shows, but we'll see it when it goes out from behind the head, like here. So, copy V, copy V, just surrounding the head for the hair that's going to stick out, and I'll actually when the head rotates forward or around, we're going to need to see hair moving in from behind. So that's what this is going to be. Take a look at what this looks like without the kid. I think that's coming along, and I think that'll work out, especially if we add more fuzzing over the character, which we probably will. So let's go ahead and save that image. So what we're going to do, we're going to hide everything we've worked on except for the hair in front. So the neck, the arms, the legs, the pelvis, the shirt, the shoulders, the sleeves. So all we end up with is the hair in front. So there we go, and we want to get that centered in our scene here. And then we're going to render, well, let's zoom in a bit. Let's make it as big as we can here. Take up as much of the screen space as we can. And there we go. Now we render that. I want you to notice how long it's taking to render, because this is the whole point of changing it from a bunch of different points to an image. So I'm going to show you how I do that and why. Alright, there we go. So now what we want to do is save this. So we go down here, we save as, and we're going to save as a PNG. And we're in our Super Rare Kid group, and this is where our items are. So we're going to just say front hair, top hair, front top hair, and save that. And because I'm going to make a major change here, I'm going to save my character as is. So turning everything back on. And we're going to save as. And this will be version number 2. And now I'm going to save again as version 3, because this is where I'm going to make the major change. And that is to remove all that hair I just created and replace it with an image. So hair top front here, we're going to delete it. But before I delete it, I'm going to import the image that we created of the top hair front. And you can see way too big, but we can grab that and shrink it down. Grab its layer and just shrink it to the right size. And then we're going to overlay exactly where it came from in the exact same size. So we want to make sure everything matches. So I'm looking at this curl here and this curl here. So we're going to expand this. Well, it was already too big, so we'll bring it back down a little. So we'll bring that one over, bring it back up a bit. So right about there. And it carried through our transparencies. So if we now delete the original, now we've got the same look, but we can control R, and rendering is so much quicker. I think. We're still got the back hair there. So we're going to do the same thing for the back hair. So you saw how quickly the front hair jumped up there. So let's hide everything except the back hair. And we don't need to get rid of the neck and all that if we just move our center in the window to where we've got it like that. We render this. See how long this is taking just for this back of hair? And that will affect your animation as well. So if we left all these little curls in, it would take forever to render each image to do an animation. But I didn't save that. Why didn't I save that? So I'm rendering it again. And then we're going to save it. So save as a PNG, and it's going to be the back top hair. And save. And so now we've got that. And we're going to need to create more hair. So let's bring our kid back, and we're going to add the bottom back hair. So new vector. Hair. Bottom. Behind. And we're going to go in there and Control V and paste, so we've got at least one of our groups of curls. And you can see the curls are going to be stretched and become actual just locks of hair. So we're going to just use part of the circles here, but the curls. So we'll use that right now just so we preserve our curls look. And now we're going to go and turn on the back of the head, the hair behind on top, and we're going to bring in the image that we created. So back top hair, we're going to grab it. Where did it go? Oh, I need to turn the kit off, sorry. So there's our hair, and we need to shrink it down to match the other. So let's turn off the front one and the skull so that we can just match the hair. And there we go. Now we can get rid of this long rendering back of hair, and we can bring on our head and front of hair, and we can render it. And there we go. So we've got the top of the hair ready to go, and if we want to add some that moves, we simply paste in one of these groups of these hairs like this. So let's go the hair behind bottom, and that should be behind the head like that. So now when we look at it, it's coming, oh, it should be behind the neck as well. So let's bring the neck up and put it right there. There we go. So now we're going to match the hair for the back of the head there. So hair bottom behind. You can copy and paste and just start dragging. And it's good to rotate so we can get variances. Remember, Control Z is your friend. It can undo anything that you've done wrong or that you can do better. Alright, so that's pretty good there. Let's bring this down, and we can bring this one out like that. So you don't have to keep everything exactly as it is, but you do want to change anything you're going to change before you capture the image that replaces the complex drawing. So come over here. Let's grab a couple of these extra down here and move them over here where we need them, and let's take a look at what that looks like. We can render it. Oh, we've got the top on still. So let's close this, and I'm just going to save right now because it's acting a little funny. I just want to make sure we don't lose anything. And I think that hair all needs to be a little more dense. So we're going to grab all of these, copy, paste, and then shift. And that gives us the same shape but more activity happening. And we can shift it a little too to make it less exacting. And so now we need to bring our character up into the window for our rendering window. So we can just click the point there and move it up like this. And now let's render it, see what it looks like. This is going to take a little bit. Just waiting for it to continue. Here we go. So there's basically what the hair behind will look like. And this is not the end of the hair. This is just the major part of the texture of the hair. So now we're going to close this. We're going to hide the neck and the head and the shirt. So the shoulders and the sleeves and the arms. We're going to hide all of that. There we go. So now we can render. I think we captured all of it. Takes a long time to render. There we go. Alright, so now we're going to save as PNG, and it's going to be back lower hair. So just go low. Now we can close this, and we're going to, where we're on the hair here, we're going to import the image of the hair. And of course it imports large. We're going to shrink it down to size. But that's great because we keep our details. Now we bring this over. There's just like that. So now we can get rid of the actual items, but actually I want to keep one. Let's see, what we want to do here is get rid of all these and just paste one. Oh, I've got all of it. Okay, well, I guess I'll have to just delete some of it. And sure don't want all this cluster in the middle, but those rest, we can probably use these. Let's see. We want singular ones. And there we go. So we want to keep at least some of that like that, so that we can recreate more of them. So for now we're going to just hide them. And now we can get rid of the back hair, or we're going to leave the bottom hair there, but we've got our back hair as an image. And now we can turn everything back on. So now there our kid has come along, the hair is working out really well. It should be behind the shirt. So the shoulders are going to come above the neck, like that. There we go. So our hair is coming along. It is looking like our super aware kid, but with more detail. Again, we're going to fuzz most of this out, so it will not matter. And I'm going to leave it here. We've been on here for almost an hour and a half. So I'm going to stop the video here, and we'll pick up next time with us completing the streamer hair in front of the body. So the shoulders have hair in front and behind. So we could move this above the shoulders, but then we get weird effects like that. But actually, that's the ones we don't want to be showing. So if we brought this above the shoulders, that's what we would get, overriding the neck. It can work. If the person had a lot of hair, that would work, but we're going to bring it down and bring separate parts in front compared to the back there. But you can see how much more quickly it renders once we've converted all those little points and lines into an image, and we get the same basic effect afterwards. So there we go. You have a wonderful day. Remember to go visit dangeraware.org. Please like and subscribe to our video and share it especially, and spread the word that we are trying to change the paradigm of abuse awareness by creating cartoons and comics for kids to teach them personal rights and how to call out grooming for abuse. So if you have any suggestions, please contact us. If you are an animator and you'd like to create a little video that has to do with calling out abuse, we would love to host it on our website. So you can visit us at dangeraware.org and check out what we're doing. And certainly if you have a cartoon that you'd like us to put online, we are willing to do so. So you have a wonderful day. Thanks again for choosing to watch our video. And take a look at dangeraware.org and spread the word to anybody you know who is young and vulnerable. We want to help them learn to protect themselves through play and entertainment. Have a wonderful day.
Stranger could be the one that lives next door. Danger, danger, could be a stranger, could be the one that you adore. Watch for the things that cause alarm. Watch for the one that would do you harm. Danger, danger, could be a stranger, could be the one that lives next door. Danger, danger, could be a stranger, could be the one that you adore. Please be alert and be aware of all the dangers anywhere. Danger, danger, could be a stranger, could be the one that lives next door. Danger, danger, could be a stranger, could be the one that you adore. Stand your ground and speak out loud. Let the world know harm's all around. Danger, danger, could be a stranger, could be the one that lives next door. Danger, danger, could be a stranger, could be the one that you adore. Danger, danger. Danger, danger. Danger. a stranger.